have the black screen of death. Why does it do this to just Switch games? Granted, it didn't even do this to all Switch games. Like, it did this to
we're here. We're
Homebody
here. Go ahead.
and Undertale, but it never does this when I do the Mario games. Like when I go into the Super Nintendo stuff, and it's never done this. Like when I switch over, granted this one isn't
Yeah, this isn't black screen anymore.
yeah. Anyway, yes, hello, we're Plasma Coin here for another round of death.
Yeah, and it's definitely gonna happen like that. Yeah,
Facts though. Facts. I'm ATP.
like at least a few
That's
times.
Sans. And over there, the other voice. That's Zero.
Where?
Oh, yeah, I guess that one guy's in the background too. Not that
Hi, that's
often.
one guy.
Zero says hi. Ah! Well, this one isn't gonna last long. I have a few. You know, despite me saying that I was going to eat 2 crab apples and then go get more stuff, like, I did not do that.
Yeah.
Oops. Ah, yes, okay. Well, and I still don't know how to properly do this one. Though, like, I have some theories. Yeah, so what,
Oh, I'm out of time. Damn. Sorry, I had to adjust something on my phone and I turned back and you went to like 1 HP. What happened?
Well, you see, everything.
Fair enough.
Um, so, you and I were talking a little bit. Oh, fuck. Okay, well. I'm gonna try not to curse nearly as much this one because, like, I realized in the second, episode of this run in the Genocide run, I, like, curse every single time. Well, I get so frustrated that I curse almost every single time I die. And, yeah, that's gonna be a pain in the booty to edit. Yeah, I'm extremely sad about it. Well. I lasted a lot longer than I thought I would, to be honest.
Oh!
Considering how I started.
I guess that's another thing we could do for Patreon. Just on our unedited, our uncensored videos.
Those are already on Twitch, though.
True. But it's always good to have them on every platform.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's fair. The first time I get to hit Sans. But yes, so you and I were talking before the stream. A little bit.
Yeah, we were talking some mad shit about Dragon for a second there.
Oh, for real. But, which led into me being like, hey, Zero, guess what I got that one guy into?
What did you get him into?
We watched the live-action One Piece. Because at this point right now, it's more digestible. And we had a few other animes we wanted to get through first before I started him on the real One Piece.
Yeah.
But he quite liked the live action. And that's saying a lot coming off of the dumpster fire. Well, I wouldn't say it was a dumpster fire.
Really?
Oh, dude, no.
We
did not watch Cowboy Bebop, and that was on purpose.
So, Yu Yu Hakusho?
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, like, have you watched it yet?
No, I do not have Netflix at the moment.
Fair enough.
We were sharing a password with somebody, and they recently were like, "No more of that," and they did. They were like, "Nope."
Dude, you want to know what the weirdest thing is? I share the password with my mom, and both her and I still have access to it. No, but it happened to my sister. She doesn't really watch it anyway, but like
we were starting to watch like everything on Netflix for a second there. Like I think we had just binged like 4 different shows.
Oh, that's fair, yeah, because Alice in Borderlands is on Netflix, right?
Yeah, Alice in Borderland. We fin we found and finished Better Call Saul,
Oh right, yeah.
and then what was it? There was a fucking. I was on there to watch JoJo Part 6. I was on there to watch Shrek or Ragnarok Season 2. I still need to watch Castlevania, the newer one. Um, and what was it? Shit. There's a couple of new anime that are on Netflix that I need to watch. And oh, and Scott Pilgrim. I need to watch Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, dude, for real, yeah. That's one I haven't watched yet either. Like, I really do want to watch the new Scott Pilgrim. And there were a couple new, um, oh my God, there's one. That one guy is like pretty sure it's on Crunchyroll, but like it's a Netflix series, so I'm not entirely sure that's true. It's called Delicious in Dungeon, and it's so cute. There were a lot of, according to that one guy, there's
It's on Crunchyroll.
Okay, good. Then yes, watch that. Um, but
I'm pretty sure, yeah, because I've been seeing it around a lot, and
yeah, like that one guy said there are some people that akin it to free run, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me because the closest thing that it comes to free run is being in the same atmosphere like D&D style as free run, but like it's definitely not. Like it reminds me
I
more
always
of
kind of,
Food Wars than it does, or like SAO. I akin it to SAO a lot. Um,
I'm
but
not
it
gonna lie,
definitely
like,
reminds me of both of those more than free rent.
yeah, I was about to say, like, I don't really see other than like the setting how it could be like it.
Yes.
Because like it's very, how do I put this? Um, it's very much how I would imagine restaurants would source their food in that kind of setting.
Yes.
Like that's how I feel like it is. I remember seeing like I haven't watched the whole thing, but I remember every time I see it, there's always like it's either a clip of them working together in a dungeon or it's them describing how to cook and how to like properly obtain certain ingredients. And like they're obsessed with the cooking of it. They're obsessed with like getting it to make sure they can eat it. And that like that is a weird niche that I really could get behind because weirdly enough, whenever we fucking get to Nevermore, the main character that's the life that the main character wanted instead of what ends up happening.
Aw.
And like no joke, because the main character's family is supposed to like own this bar restaurant, and him and his dad sourced all the material.
Oh.
And yeah, but they live in a nation state that in a world that kind of sucks, and their
Fair.
nation state, their military nation state, kind of was responsible for certain things happening, which leads into the chain of events.
Ooh,
The
yes.
first arc.
Why don't you tell us a little more about
Is,
Nevermore? Cause like
oh,
we've
right.
never really talked about it too much on stream, and I think that would actually be kind of cool. Wow, I'm getting my ass whooped. Talk about something kind of fun and possibly Plasma Coin exclusive that we've kind of had in the pipeline for a while, but haven't really gotten a chance to fully work on yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies.
Ah!
I super kudos to anyone that's ever made a webtoon, or a manga, or any kind of picture book. But there, so Nevermore is a concept. Funny enough, I'm gonna just spill some like behind the scenes shit on this.
Sure.
Weirdly, the whole concept of Nevermore happened because of two characters, and
Oh.
those two characters happened because of a fan fiction I made called Final Fantasy Omega in a private Facebook group way back in the day with a bunch of friends because they were all characters in it. I didn't know what level of like awesome nerd you were at the time. That's why you weren't in it.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
mean, you're actually in the story. you just weren't in the group.
Fair enough.
But the and all of that
Oh.
came about, and all of it came about because one day I was on like my second day in a row of working more than 16 hours at the Hilton Garden Inn, and I believe I was on day two, and day two was almost 19 hours. And I was driving home at roughly 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to be back at noon, and I kind of started doing this really like stupid voice out loud, and then like a sleepy part of my imagination went, wouldn't it be funny to see a character take that on and like get really mad about it? And for whatever reason, that made me think of Gold Lion, and because Gold Lion's really fun to annoy sometimes, and,
Yeah.
and to see him get mad. So it turned into like this phantasmic fight.
Fantasmic.
Phantasmic fight in my head, and then out of nowhere, my brain was like, "Make a twist." Weird, funny sounding fat man is secretly super like rich, and then for some reason in my head, this was all again at 4 in the morning after 2 very long shifts. No drugs were involved in this. I was just
I like
really,
how you
really,
emphasize that.
yeah.
That no
This
drugs
was
were
just
involved.
and I had been alone that day, by the way, since like midnight too. So
Oh,
uh, I was creating my own fun, and
fair enough.
and like somehow in my head, my brain was like, you have to give a reason for this. You gotta do it. But I did, and and the reason that they were like the reasoning behind it all was like the fat man chooses the fat form over his true form for the ideas of inner beauty and how you judge people and shit. And I was like, how can I make that turn into an actual three-dimensional character? And when I got home, I didn't want to lose him, so I started writing the fan fiction.
That's actually kind
Which
of cool,
is,
though.
yeah. And in that fan fiction, he was going to be one of the main antagonists. And another character, um, who is another antagonist in Nevermore, was initially going to be in that as well. I didn't want to get rid of. I didn't want to lose that. I didn't want to lose like basically the intensity of which I wrote them. Um, I was just like, I'm not fucking giving this one up. So those two made it over, and uh, while I do have a document working on it, I'm still like changing names out
Yeah.
because the fan fiction is now going to be turned into an actual book, maybe someday, called Evermore, where the events of our time happen hundreds of millions of years before the events of Nevermore.
Oh.
And yeah, basically the events of Evermore, the after years of Evermore lead into everything that happens in Nevermore because one of the main characters' grandchildren is like, things need to change, and the world kind of just went with that. Kind of. I don't want to like say too much because that would be like giving away the whole fucking
Yeah.
ending if I described that part. Um, but basically, Nevermore is a story about our world, like literally our world, so far in the future that the Pangea effect starts happening again.
Oh.
Except now the continents are really all close together in the other direction. So not in the shape that they would have made as Pangea, but basically on a collision course with shapes that don't fit together anymore. or and and the world is run by like a few different kingdoms, uh, in a rather weird way. Like there's one that could just dominate all the others, but instead they just say, "Don't do too much, or we'll come slap you all. You guys can bicker amongst yourselves all you want until it starts affecting our bottom line, and then we're gonna go fucking slap your guys' shit in." So they're doing that. All the other kingdoms are just trying to, do their own thing. They have, but because they are able to somewhat go to war with each other, they often do awful things to each other's kingdoms. Some have alliances, some don't. It's the world, you know.
Yeah,
But
the
but
world is
instead of
ridiculous.
America, yeah, instead of America and Russia holding nukes over everyone, it's just one kingdom of powerful mages going, "We can just end you all."
That sounds about right.
And yeah, and and amidst all this, you have the kingdom that we started with the main character. It's a military type of nation state where everyone has to serve, and even their schools. Like the main character is 17, is in his last year of high school. Him and his friends are in a military school that everyone has to go to. Everyone goes their entire life to, and then they have to serve 2 years at the minimum in the military. And he wants nothing more than to say all that. He's an overly smart Shikamaru kind of guy in terms of
Yeah.
he doesn't care for the military in any kind of way. He just wants to be at home with his dad and run a bar restaurant with him.
Aww.
He has an older Yeah, his older sister is actually a like follows in the family nonsense of all being kind of good at what they do. Their dad was a former general in the military. His sister is an officer in the military, but she actually likes being there and likes serving. Um, and then you have his friends his best friend Danny Alexandria, who is a straight up reference to Asking Alexandria, and um,
Danny Sixbang.
no, Danny Worsnop, the
Oh.
singer of Asking
Oh.
Alexandria. Yeah.
I don't know
So
why I didn't put that together.
so that's his best friend. Has a thing for his sister. Um, he's the better fighter, but main character is smarter.
Yeah.
Then you have their friends, Serenity, who is Danny's little sister, and then you have Crow, and they're all happy, they're all cool, they're chums. Chapter one basically just has them like meeting up after school as a random little dude that I mentioned earlier kind of walks by them. And the way the scene is supposed to be laid out, and every scene with this kid is supposed to be telling that he's he stands out. Like when he first shows up, when this kid randomly first shows up, he's the only one not in military, uh, like school uniform. He's also everyone else is kind of leaving the school area while he's walking the other direction, and that's because this little psychopath is actually an antagonist and a pretty huge one at that. And with by his command, in the middle of what was a nice little get together with the main character and his family and friends, uh, suddenly they hear interruption of like just bad shit going on outside. And they go outside, and immediately Crow gets taken out. And before the main character can fully comprehend what he sees when he looks over, his sister defends him from another shot. The series, by the way, uh, like every nation has its own kind of magic in a Avatar: The Last Airbender kind of way.
Yeah.
But what's messing with the character, the main characters in the most immediate moment is none of the people attacking seem to have a uniform magic to them. All the nations have some kind of, like diversity just for the sake of having backup plans or in case of emergencies. But enemies are completely and utterly like balls to the wall unique in terms of like this person's doing this person's doing that. And why is this? There's no cohesion, and it's working. And yeah, pretty much one by one, the main character kind of sees everyone go, and he just go he goes full Sasuke, but only kind of because Sasuke had a plan. The RMC, whose name is Maverick, he does not have a plan. He just thinks, I'm going to find everyone who's not on our side and just obliterate them. And he's not thinking long term or longevity. He's not thinking of doing it to all of them in the moment. He's thinking he's not going to stop until he is dead because he doesn't care if he makes it.
Yeah.
Amongst the crowd of enemies and now everything on fire, he finds himself in an area where he is seeing a really weird mixture of both enemy, ally, and citizen. And all of their injuries kind of look uniform. They're all kind of same, like they're coming. Our teacher character, a murderer. His name is Damon. Damon. Uh, and the name he gives himself, and it confuses the hell out of the main character because no one has that name.
Really?
In fact, many religious names don't exist in this time. But he knows what it means, and he possesses something called demon body magic. He uses it. His skin and his body kind of start taking on the attributes of a demon, and he gains the ability to control his body kind of burns naturally. It's hot, and he can do something else that's very, very weird in this world. I'm getting ahead of myself though. Basically, main character finds him, and he does not care that this is obviously not an enemy or an ally, but just someone who's killing everything in front of him. And he is shitting himself because he knows this dude is dangerous. But more important to him is that if he kills this guy, he can kill more of the enemy. And that's all he cares about. So he fights. And this gets Damon excited because he knows people that are foolish and just don't realize the difference between them. And he knows people who are aware and just too scared to do anything or too scared to fight effectively. But he's seen this little goober running at him with full intent to kill, but still shaking, but not hesitating. He's going for it, but he is terrified. And he thinks to himself, alright, I'm not gonna use my second magic. I'm just gonna stick with the demon body magic. And if I have to even try, I am going to teach this boy. And he did have to try a little, so he knocks Maverick out. And then when Maverick wakes up, he is now several miles over the city in a hill, looking down on what used to be a capital city, now mostly on fire. And he goes, "How the did I get here?" Damon says, "I jumped a couple of times."
What?
Damon is crazy. Damon is basically not as overpowered as Gojo. So how do I make him interesting? Because he's definitely kind of going to be a problem because he's a murderer. Oh yeah, that's the interesting thing. Maverick takes advantage of the fact that this guy is a murderer and says, "Hey, I'm not strong enough for you right now, and you obviously want to fight me at some point." And he's like, "Yeah," and he goes, "If you follow me, I can promise you promising enemies, and I'm going to try to kill them all first. If I fail to your expectations, feel free to switch me out with one of them. But I am taking first dibs at each of them." And Damon knows he's being played, but murder is murder, and he legit is an actual killer. His whole motivation in saving Maverick was this is a kid with nothing. This is a kid who wants to kill and is able to see danger. So he wants to train him up in a kind of Gon Hisoka uh, like type of rivalry. But
Mhm.
instead of Hisoka doing the Hisoka thing where he lets Gon off and becomes strong on his own, no, he is making damn sure that this kid gets strong and ultimately kill him.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's the whole goal. He's trying to train up a good fight. And the whole reason why he thinks Maverick is promising is because he wants revenge, and he knows he's got to get strong to get that revenge. So they're taking full advantage of each other from the beginning. Eventually, they go from there to just saying, it, this city is dead. We need to go to one of the places that is rumored to have been under attack recently, or to have having weird situations going in their capitals. So that's what they do. And on the way, the teacher's like, "Yo, so like everybody else, you learned body magic and you learned a specific element, right?" Oh, because he fought Maverick initially fought him with ice body magic. His body can get really, really cold and produce ice around it. Not really like super amounts of control, but enough for defensive purposes
Yeah.
and to freeze things on touch. And Damon's like, "Fuck that, all that. Today, I'm learning you adaptation." And that becomes his whole thing. He trains him to never fully like adapt his body enough to actually hold on to an element or hold on to whatever it is that he wants his skin to take attributes of. He becomes fully adapted. And the whole reason why most people in his universe don't do that is because that means they don't always have an exact battle strategy. That means they don't always have an absolute immediate way that they know how to win with. But Damon wants this kid to be the most adaptable fighter he can be because that means he'll be harder to kill. His whole motivation. Um, and as he's talking about how to train him and how to teach him his secret technique, or secret thing, it's not really a technique, they come across the girl of the group. Only she's not initially nice. She's actually a mercenary who picked up a bounty for them because I skipped a part.
Yeah.
Before they met with her, they meet with the the last other person that joins their was a general of of the capital kingdom. He was away, and when his unit came back, they got a report, and the people who attacked the city blamed Damon and Maverick. And they try to take them in, and Damon makes Maverick kill his own people while also being like, yo, you're a kid and you were pretty good, but like, that's a general. Good luck. It goes bad, but Damon's like, okay, my turn. They let him live, and only because Maverick is like, okay, I don't want too many of our people to die, and if you let him go, more will come. And Damon thinks, murder. So yeah, carrot and stick is going to work for him most of the story. Then they run into the girl, and she looks like a nice, innocent person, just traveling along in the woods. And but yeah, I already gave it away. She's a bounty hunter or a mercenary. She picked up a bounty on them, and but she gave herself away while chatting with them because she spoke in a language from our time. With very little exception, languages don't exist as they do today because something changed them over time. And when she used a particular language, I can't remember if it was French or Swedish that I wrote down in my notes. Um, but she says something in those languages as her own thing because no one could understand, but she knows what it means. And to her surprise, Damon knows what it means. And he catches on, a fight ensues. Turns out she is just about as tough as the general they just squared off with, if not better. And Maverick saves her in a similar fashion. But when he figures out she's a mercenary, he goes, so you have friends who don't work with the kingdom, and you're stronger than them, and he was able to almost kill you with like a couple of hits. Why don't you take us to your hideout? And the main character kidnaps an entire mercenary.
Dang.
Yeah, he's serious about what he's doing. Um, and then the general guy eventually comes after them again. But this time, when he notices that they've got a force, he decides to try to talk to them, figures out what they're up to, and he decides to join. So now we have the four main characters, whose names are, off the top of my head, Maverick, Damon, Zane, and um, Tiva. All of their names mean something, and all of their names end up building into their character. Each of them also represent a form of reason, not a reason for war, but no, yeah, it is a reason. Revenge, religion, um, history, and um, what is the word? Shit, I can't remember what the word is. When you're like way too about your country, patriotism.
Patriotism.
Yeah, too much patriotism. And the antagonists who are named um, Sylvia, Sylvia Wayward, um, Solo, uh, can't remember his last name, um, Omega Snyder, and Zephyr. Each of them are representative of victims of war. Omega represents PTSD. Um, Solo is a child soldier. Uh, Sylvia is unfortunately the grim outcome of what can happen to women uh, as, as prisoners of war. and then um, Zephyr is just Aang, and by that I mean he also represents what happened in Tibet, aka religious persecution. And their world, religion isn't even a thing.
Mhm.
Zane's people. I'm gonna give a little bit of backstory on the antagonists, so I won't say too much about them. Zane's people were basically forming the closest thing to what their time would know as religion. They didn't worship anyone. They didn't even know what the word worship is, and they don't understand the concept because it's just not a thing.
Yeah.
However, they were all finding the ideas of basically Zen, and the the kingdom in charge, who is obviously going to be the home of the true antagonists, um, they they didn't like that. They didn't like that they had some close to religious experiences happening, and
The way you
they
said
sent the
that
Fire
sounded like
Nation
how you would voice Megan. Happening.
happening. But yeah, they would. What was I saying? They basically sent the Fire Nation to do what the Fire Nation does,
Of course.
and and hit Zephyr Zane was a part of a little group that was going out to meet certain someone's father because he was trying to make peace with their little like hidden civilization that they had going on, and and it was actually going to be a very good thing.
Mhm.
But instead, this man was taken. Uh, Zane had to take this man to earn remains of his civilization, and they both swore together that day, along with Omega, who was there for reasons. They all swore that they would make a coalition to basically end certain things from happening. And I guess I should say now that the whole theme of the story is protagonists don't have to be good guys.
Yeah.
And and in the real world, there really isn't such a good thing as good guys, bad guys when it comes to warfare. It's just whoever,
The eye of
like
the
everyone's just
beholder.
happier when the yep.
On whatever side you're
Basically,
on.
yeah, and basically, the only time that's good is when the fighting is not happening.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that's how he kept closing the story. So Zephyr gets in there. No. Sorry, my cats are being stupid by the basement door.
Which
Um,
was?
Charlie and Mega.
Of course. Of course, Lego's
Right?
involved.
Uh, oh yeah, because he doesn't like it when I'm downstairs too long. Um, but so Zephyr gets involved. Do that. Omega is the PTSD guy. He um he was just born really really talented, and there's not a lot of characters like him in the story in terms of like the prodigy. No, he was that guy, and in his kingdom they lavished him and praised him, and because he was pretty, they would always tell him all this good shit, right?
Mhm.
But like, he was a good boy. Good boys don't do good in war, and he started like, well, people were praising him for doing so good and giving him compliments. This was, by the way, slightly inspired by this the scene from All Quiet on the Western Front, where the main character goes home.
Oh
But
yeah.
like, yeah, like he can't accept the praises for what they are because while they're saying you did so good, you kicked their ass, his mind is translating it to you did good killing. You did real good killing.
Well, cause
You did
when
real
you
good making
think
sure
about it,
that those guys didn't go home to their families.
yup.
and it eventually kind of breaks him, and he um at some point in the story it gets too much for him, and let's just say by the events of uh by the events of the story, there is a new government in place, and he's no longer allowed there
Oh.
because they start getting a little too like uppity about, you can't just quit the walls. You're the reason we have so much shit. Woo, woo, woo. And he's like, let me take that away by force. And he he's pretty much the first of the antagonistic side that starts talking with a certain individual and his family about possibly starting a revolution, not just against one nation, but against all nations, because in order to take the big one down, all of them kind of have to be in a row.
Mhm.
And um, and from there we go to Sylvia, who comes from a good home and you know good times, good family. Uh, but she happens to be from the same place that. Wait, no, no, no. She's from the casting kingdom. Shit, no, sorry. I'm getting my note, my not my notes, but my memory all mixed up. She's from
You're
the
good. You're good.
environmental kingdom, and the environmental kingdom. Their whole magic system is that instead of their magic system is outwardly doing what the main character does normally, and that is adapting their magic to the environment around them. They don't ever know their magic is going to go down, but they train themselves to be as adaptive as possible. And because of that, they're extremely, extremely hard to actually beat as a country. But their farms sometimes get hit, and where farmers are typically just really good at using their magic for farming, aren't really good at using it for war.
Yeah.
Uh, and she just happened to live on one of those farms. And yeah, so her mom made it, and
Oh.
then her mom and her went to a red light district, and she wasn't old enough, but her mom was, and then her, something not great happens to her mom, and then something not great almost happens in front of her mom's body, and thankfully in that moment she learns why she couldn't use her magic because it turns
Mm.
out um, something that Damon. I don't mind giving this away because it's revealed in like chapter two.
Yeah.
But in the magic system works is every single type of magic used, like every single kingdom's magic, pretty much. Um, they can all learn one kind of spell type completely and utterly and master it. So, say someone from the Castian Kingdom, they can like launch magic from their hands and feet, or like keep it in their hands and feet and use it for impact attacks. If they say they wanted to use fire, they could control the fire released from their hands. They could make it do all sorts of fancy things. But once it's released, that's it. And one and they can learn another type, but it would only be about 15% as strong. So they give most of their efforts to one because that's all they can do. That's their limit. And body mages, like the main character, can't even do that. they have to, because they use adaptive body magic to get whatever their secondary attribute is, and because it's affecting their entirety of their body,
Mhm.
that's all they get. They get one. And if they want to learn another one, they got to completely forget how to use the first one.
So like a Pokemon.
Yep. And the strongest kingdom, funny enough, is the same way because they're elementals. Imagine a kingdom full of Logia users. Yeah, can you see how they win?
Oof.
Yeah, pretty hard to fight people when you have to have a very specific thing to hurt them. Typically,
Yeah.
their other element.
Or the
Uh,
sea.
Yup. And the sea isn't a thing. The sea prism thing isn't a thing in the story. So again, there's a huge reason why they're on top. Um. Uh. Yeah. So all that to say, Damon's little trick is that he can use two time. Full power. Doesn't matter. He
Dang.
and he explains it as back in the day, back in our time, people could just use whatever magic, and it would only be as good as the effort they put into it. But they had one that was always theirs, one that was in their soul. And what they know as magic in their time is basically the understanding of how to utilize their mana, their aura, their essence, and utilizing it in the form of magic. But they also have their own innate ability. But in order to use it, they have to have their heart and their mind in the exact same place. Like basically, their logic has to be in tune with their soul. And if it's out of whack, both could collapse at any given time. So basically, if Damon's whole thing is he can cast fire and he has a demon body. If he suddenly isn't aligned with himself, like say his head is saying protect, but his heart is saying kill, there's a chance that his fire would get weak and his skin wouldn't be as tough, because that's one of the factors of his skin. It gets real tough. And for and going back to Sylvia, her whole magical thing, she couldn't use magic environmentally because what her casting ability is, her soul ability is dismantling.
Soul ability.
Yeah, like basically the ability that comes from her innate self. Like, I might be getting the abilities swapped again. Basically, oh yeah. So, she has environmental, and it's not casting. It's why the can I not think of it? This whole category was inspired by Hunter x Hunter. How am I forgetting it? Ah, I'm just gonna call it projection, summoning, whatever. So, um, the ability that was inside of her body was to create basically this very specific shit. I'm just gonna call it Monostone because I still haven't actually come up with a good name for it. I have been workshopping for forever. But basically, she can make an indestructible type of stone that only breaks if she wants it to, and she can control it and how it moves up to 10 feet to her proximity. And even if she wants to use it further, she could basically just launch it really hard. But that she couldn't use it because she couldn't use another magic that she learned, which is dismantle. So she can dismantle anything, so long as it's not alive.
So she can't pull a Trafalgar Law.
Yeah, She basically her ability was inspired by Escryed's abilities, and that like random shit just like gets transmuted, like turned into energy, and then turned into an
Yeah.
ability on the character. But in her case, it's like she she dismantles the area around her, and it turns into a bunch of very sharp, hard things that she uses to impale. And she kind of starts her own little guerrilla resistance group, where eventually she comes across a little boy from the same kingdom who lost his entire family, and much like her, gained magical ability and a highly emotional moment. That's Solo. Solo, at the beginning of when he is found, isn't even 10 yet.
Bro, I just. God damn it.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Oh
And
no, I mean, yes, god damn it to that, but, uh, I think the controller
very
is moving
great
on its
story.
own again. Cause, like,
No.
I just hopped, like, I just jumped to a second, like, thing, and I didn't mean to do, either wasn't cognizant in what I was doing, or, like, the controller's moving. Like, it's drifting, and one thing I hate about Switch controllers is how bad the drift is sometimes.
Is it really that bad?
Well, like, it got so bad to the point where almost every single controller did it, and Nintendo essentially offers free services to fix them.
Mm.
And for Nintendo to offer anything for free, that's how you know it's bad.
Oh yeah. It's almost like
They
that
the
one time
money
where they gave everyone.
hungriest.
It's almost like that one time where they actually did give away money to people who up their hands on the Nintendo 64 controllers. Thank you, Mario Party, for that story. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna leave off on that because like I'm gonna start accidentally spoiling too much. Like the story is essentially like, yeah, the whole thing is there is no such thing as a good guy or a bad guy. It is in the eyes of the beholder. And sometimes like um death does come to quite a few of the characters, especially in the main cast. And um this isn't going to give anything away because I'm not going to say who fits the bill or not.
Mhm.
But it'll come down to the characters that can and can't let go of certain things. Um, Characters that can let go survive, and the characters that can't let go die.
Oh.
Yeah, and I've already like the way I write is basically I write the beginning, I get the characters that I want out there, and then I write the end, and I fill in the blanks, and I change the ending as I go, just to make sure like the things I'm doing to fill in the blanks between point A, the beginning, and point B, the ending,
Yeah.
work out the way that they should. So far, I've made a few of the changes to the ending, but the way the characters are going out and the way that certain things go down has all like pretty much stayed the same. It's just like key things, uh, and I constantly try to like take a little bit out here and there
Yeah.
as I'm writing these days because I keep thinking to myself, I don't want to make a story like One Piece, but I do want to make a story that's written well like One Piece in terms of if something happens, there needs to be an appropriate world reaction to it.
Well, that's the good part about Oda's writing.
Yeah,
Is that
that's my favorite part of his writing.
it does drift. God damn it.
That is awful in a fight where you got to stay still sometimes.
Like that last movement I did up against the wall, that shouldn't have happened.
No, what the? Well, now I can't see what's happening. my device ran into a problem and needs to restart. We have connection error info. God damn it.
Oh no, what do you mean?
My computer just decided to restart.
It pooped out on you. Well, I mean, it is the kind of beginning of a month, and we do have, like, the computers do have those updates.
True.
Once a month, unfortunate.
Yep, it's an update.
Big boo!
What? Big boo. In the meantime, while I'm waiting, I guess I can. Oh, the other thing I was gonna bring up. So I finally, speaking of Oda, I finally got to 1071.
Ooh.
I finally got there. I finally got there. Oh my god. And I had to stop after that.
So wait, did you get in the manga or in the anime?
In the anime. Oh, in the manga, I'm caught up. In the anime, I just got to that moment. You know, the moment.
The one that made a lot of new watchers want to quit and immediately start there without any context because they're dumb
Yep.
and impatient.
The laughing man himself. I got to it, and I was like, "Oh my god, yes,
Well,
finally!" Dude, all the animation in that scene, the animation, like, okay, no joke, it's been good for a hot minute.
Yeah.
But and like, no joke, since the fights really started wrapping up, the animation's just been like kick-ass across the board. Like there's still some moments that are like, but like no, this is good. They did so many. It's like I'm sorry, I'm gushing, but like, they did so many things right in terms of like setting the mood for certain scenes, doing the right kind of music, and just the way they animated certain characters' actions. There's one character that does something for the betterment of their cause.
You're so descriptive.
I know it's pretty like it's one of those smaller that actually I've heard of. So I don't want to spoil it.
Was it
But,
Sanji?
No, it was not one of the main cast.
Okay. Okay, I think I know
Yeah,
what you're
it's
talking about then.
maybe.
Because I was thinking
But
originally, when Sanji called out to Robin.
No. But that is an amazing moment. And I love the writing that went into that, and
right.
the dramatic journey of us knowing why it's actually a really huge thing for Sanji to call for help, while everyone else thinks he's shameful. Like no, like he trusts her, and that's why she was happy to be called upon. Like he trusts that she can handle it. He won't hit a woman on his own, and he knows it. He knows he would die there. He needed help.
Exactly.
But no, it wasn't even a good guy. It wasn't even someone on the Straw Hat side. But they did something for the betterment of their cause, and it led to it's One Piece, so I don't know for sure, but it possibly has led to their death. And like the music, the tension, the way the characters and the other characters in the scene reacted, and then just like his complete acceptance of the fact that he knows he's like it was astounding. And it's not even a huge deal or a huge scene, but that's one of the best parts of like that's the part where I will say I will try to write like Oda in the terms of making the world reactive. I am not gonna try to write like Oda outside of that because I do not think I have the capacity to make even the smallest characters that may only get like 20 panels out of the entirety of the manga to somehow feel alive. I do not know how he has the ability to do that this many chapters in. he goddamn did.
Goddamn magic.
Like,
goddamn magic.
oh, and it's like a character I didn't even like, but in that moment, I was just like, all right, I'll give you this.
Alright, I'll give you this. See, the best part is I can see, god damn it, I can see you saying that to Caleb. Being like, alright, I'll give you this one. But like being not happy about it.
Like, this is gonna sound real mean, but I have definitely done that to Caleb.
Is it mean though? Because we've talked about the parasite on stream before, and we all know he's done some pretty wacko things, and we also know he's a god in other places.
Yeah, it's the random talents that he has, like that I realize after the fact are always fun. Like back in the day when I used to teach him martial arts, figuring out that he was actually pretty good at like getting people in the throwing positions surprised me. He lost that very quickly, but like.
Explain what you told me and Tori in the meeting on Sunday. So we have little plasma coin meetings every Sunday. Well, not every Sunday. Every first Sunday of the month, just so you know, rehash some stuff. And Zero brought up something pretty interesting that I don't even think any of us kind of realized until he brought it up.
Oh yeah, so Plant is really, really good at finding things that will trend someday, and he's kind of always been. When I was younger, you know what? Before I even give the examples that I gave, I know it was between me and Scott that introduced me to Tales of Symphonia.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that series ever made its way to Sony. Plant was the one that introduced me to Tales of the Abyss, which ultimately led me down to finding out that Tales of Symphonia was on Sony. And then he got me. He was the one that showed me Has Been Hotel's pilot back in the day. He was the one that showed me Meat Canyon, the Ed, and Ed Jawbreakers video. And Canyon has since retired from YouTube, but from that moment, I think like 3 videos later, he was at 100,000 subscribers, and then he hit 1 million within. Then Has Been Hotel. We all know what happened with that.
Yes, sir.
Comics, second series, an actual time on Amazon. Like, oh my god. And he's kind of like good at finding those series, even when it comes to anime. I'm pretty sure he was the one that showed me. No, I found Gurren Lagann Fuse. Never mind. He would always talk up Clinad before it got popular. He would always talk up.
He would always talk about Clinad.
Oh man, he loved that show. When it was first airing, all he would go on about, and he spoiled the whole thing for me. And because of that, like, I refused. That is the one series, actually, that he brought up that I will never watch.
Really?
Because the ending pisses me off. Yeah, the ending pisses me off.
Oh, no, that's fair.
Like, it's just like, no. It's like, it's, for anyone who hasn't watched Clinad, I'll save you the trouble. If you've watched if you watch The Life of Pi, it's the same thing. When it boils down to it, it's the same thing. Because none of it mattered. None of it mattered. Not one bit. Nothing. just. I know there are people who are like, it's a story. No, that. If it's gonna be a beautiful story, make it a beautiful story. If it's gonna be a sad story, make it a sad. You can make a sad story beautiful, but if you take what made it sad in the first place and just throw it out the window. It's no longer sad. It's not even beautiful. You could take the whole middle of the story and throw it out, and that would be the entire story that matters. Because none of them know. Sorry. I didn't think I was gonna go that hard with that.
No, that's fair. How do you feel about Wolves Rain then?
Oh, well, okay, Wolves Rain. Look. Look. There's the difference is. The difference is, by the time Wolves Rain was done, I needed the happiness to survive another day.
No, that's fair. That's
Wait,
fair. That's what everybody says when I've shown Wolves Rain to, and I'm just like, oh.
Like, if it wasn't for the, like, I will give it this though. If it wasn't about a bunch of wolves, like they did a lot to make that feel as deep as it was. Though a lot of them were stylized, made them look a little more human.
Yeah.
Like they looked a little more human than most anime. It was one of, I won't say it's one of the earliest anime that did what it did in terms of like really, really just bringing to the forefront a mass of depression, but like it wasn't depression for depression's sake. It was something that you felt with the characters as they were feeling it. It like the hopelessness of when they started losing certain fights, them go down one after the other. Like it is gut wrenching, and it's done and paced in a way that is like you're. It's not like Clannad where it's kind of all there the entire time, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. Like there's actually moments of rise in Wolves Rain, and there's like moments of hope where maybe things will go a little bit better, and then it's just like I don't know. It feels more of a genuine drop of a genuine drop of I'm watching this because I enjoy it. To I'm watching this because I enjoy it because I need to see what happens for people. and Clannad is, dear God, can this shit just end? Because it's just sadness. It's just sadness, and then suddenly, nope, never mind. and like, I don't know. I might be being biased here. Wolf Rain is just, Wolf Rain is just better. I'm sorry.
Dude, like, don't get me wrong. I love Wolves Rain. Actually, it's one of the first animes I remember showing to someone who had never gotten into anime before. And then I was like, I think I showed them the first couple episodes because it was still on Adult Swim. And this was like back in elementary school maybe, when it was like still on. So I rewatched it in college. Like I finished it for the first time in college because I missed so many episodes back when it was on Adult Swim because it was one of the late night blocks. I can understand why now. And when I tell you I finished it in college, and I was just like, I could have really emotionally traumatized this person. And they, like, holy shit. Like, they trusted me to show them something good, and I showed them that. I showed them something so sad.
You know what's funny now that I'm thinking about Wolf Rain? I don't think I've ever actually talked about this before.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I never thought I'd be having conversations about Wolves Rain this far into the future.
Right? Like, Wolves Rain was such a niche anime that I think only showed, like, maybe 2 or 3 watch throughs of the entire series, and then it just wasn't on anymore.
Yep. And I remember one time I was at the house I grew up in, and my cousin Roxanne was over. And as I'm trying to sit there and watch and enjoy my anime, I don't know if you remember the episode where like there was that woman with a big ass boa constrictor, or like she had a snake with her or some shit. I
Yeah.
don't remember the context of the episode. And the reason I don't remember is because the second she came on the screen, my cousin Roxanne started dubbing her, going like, "Come here, little wolf boy, you want to suck on these titties?" I was
Damn.
like, "No, it wants to eat you." And I'm just like, "Shut up, Roxanne." And she just kept going on. I didn't hear a word of that episode.
Oh my god. I think honestly that's when things start getting really dark.
Yup. I remember I had to rewatch this series a couple of times because on Tsunami, because or not, um, because I also was missing a lot of episodes. I think I watched that episode, and then the next one I saw all of the dogs were getting their shit kicked in,
Oh, dude, yeah.
and I'm like, why? What did I miss?
It. I remember watching the first episode, and then all of a sudden, I remember watching the episode where they get to, like, it wasn't the last episode, but it was, I think, when they escape the city, and like then they're being hunted and all that, and I'm just like, what the fuck happened?
So many things.
Yeah, I'm like, oh,
Uh,
okay. And I think that's when I stopped watching when it was on Adult Swim, because I realized I missed so much. And then I saw it on
yeah.
again, and I tried watching it. Like, I genuinely tried staying up late to watch it, and I just straight up could not. And I'm like, oh,
Speaking
this
of
is kind of sad. I don't
speaking
even
of
think
old
it was
school
one I
anime,
talked to Kawhi about.
dang.
Yeah, because I know Kawhi and I, like, her and I were best friends even back then. So sometimes when we'd, like, stay the night at each other's houses, we'd, like, stay up and we'd watch anime and shit. Most of the time it'd be Inuyasha, then pass the fuck out. But... and, like, every now and again
Alright.
we'd catch the original, like, '03 Full Metal Alchemist. But it would always, I kid you not, be
Be
either
the
the
same
Cat
first
Burglar
episode?
episode, or it would be the episode where they're at the butcher.
Okay, so you guys did eventually get there, because she eventually, when I tried to get her to watch it, she told me that she just kept seeing the first 2 episodes over and
Yep,
over and over and over and over, and she
exactly.
never saw anything past that.
Yeah, and it was mostly my fault.
Oh, by the way, I have the first season on DVD now.
Where did you get it?
I bought it online. I gotta buy the rest of it.
Shit. Send me the link, because I've genuinely been looking for it for such a long ass time. And I'm like, I want to physically watch the '03 series so I can know the difference again. Because I kid you not, do you remember the Scholastic Book Fair?
All the time. I randomly think about it and how weirdly into all of it I was.
Dude, it's not weird, but like,
I, for me though, like I don't think of, when I think of my elementary school life, it's still weird to me how much I was really into books
I don't
because
think so.
I don't read I don't read quite as many actual books anymore.
I don't think that's weird though, but anyway, so at the Scholastic Book Fair,
It's probably not.
there was a Full Metal Alchemist '03 character guide, and I still have it.
Hell yeah.
And like, there were a couple times where I like tried to sell it at a garage sale or something, and like, nobody would get it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep this. And you can tell, like, the difference, like, the anime group I'm a part of, or the Discord group I'm a part of, they have anime night every Monday, and we're rewatching Brotherhood, and granted, I've rewatched Brotherhood like 3 times at this point. So I don't need to.
I
I don't
mean,
need to watch it
it's still a good
like
one.
with them. It's still good, and when I rewatch it, I can
Oh
see the
yeah.
differences between the two and the different characters. And I'm just like, I just want you guys to watch O3 to know what you're missing. Cause like this is their first time watching any Full Metal Alchemist, and it's like you guys are have missed such a pinnacle of anime. Uh, like
Yeah.
Full
Like
Metal
you
has
guys,
been my favorite for a long ass time.
I don't think enough people realize because everyone, as soon as Brotherhood came out, there was this wave of people that just were talking like, "Oh, three doesn't matter anymore.
Yes.
It's not what the manga wanted." And it's like, okay, look, I get it. GT did something dirty to a famous anime once. Yes, that does happen sometimes when people go away from the mangaka.
Yep.
However, we would not have Brotherhood if O3 did not happen as awesomely as it did.
Oh, for
It
real.
it knocked everything so hard out of the park that not only did it launch a PS2 game, the PS2 game did so well that it released a sequel. I don't think it went further than that. But like the PS2 game was actually pretty good. I played the hell out of it. In fact, most of the Western group of friends that I
Yeah.
grew up with had borrowed that game, and we would like the final bosses were Roy Mustang and Colonel Armstrong or Lieutenant Armstrong.
Yeah,
Jesus
because that's
Christ,
all
they
that
were
came
hard.
out at that point was like you only could fight the like I remember the Mustang fight, and that was one of the best fights in anime at the time.
Oh yeah, oh it was so good, and just like all of it was written so well that it genuinely shocked me when I found out that the mangaka it wasn't following the mangaka story because it
Yeah.
was all so good. It stayed consistent, and like the writing just kept getting better. And yeah, it took a left turn into left field, but dare I say the left turn that Attack on Titan took at the end was far greater.
Yeah, yeah. Listen,
Like,
hang on, hold your thought. Wait, no, finish your thought, cause then I
oh,
think
oh,
I think I might have done it. Finish your thought.
oh. Okay, so sorry, this just distracted me so hard, dude. Remember what the last thing I said was?
No, uh, Attack on Titan. You were talking about Attack on Titan.
Oh yeah, the comparison. So at the end of like the O3 anime, we all know that they were randomly like, yeah, the fuel for our alchemy is actually lives lost in a parallel universe, which is our real world going through World War II. And I can't lie, crazy left turn to have in your last like 10, not even last 10, it's like last 5 episodes, if I remember right, maybe even last 4.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is wild. That is wild. But you know what? Like, they still made it work because they even did something that was not very like it wasn't usually done in anime. It's done more now today with anime like Seven Deadly Sins. But they made a movie that was canon to the story of that story. It wasn't canon to Full Metal Alchemist, of course, because it didn't follow Brotherhood's timeline, but it finished off the O3 story. It, like, and it wrapped it up very, very well. So not only did they kick ass throughout the entire of the anime series, they got picked up every single time a season ended. It finished. They produced 2 games, if not more. They're still frequently used in everything to this day. Like, I have Edward Elric as a goddamn character in my Final Fantasy Brave Exvius mobile game. And I have Roy in Epic 7. And Riza Hawkeye. But, like, like, none of that, we wouldn't have any of that in the form of Brotherhood if the original wasn't so kick ass. And if you're a fan of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, you are doing yourself a complete disservice to not watch the O3 anime because you O3 you will start to see why certain characters in Brotherhood lived because they were crazy popular in O3.
Yes.
And every single character that gets spared in Brotherhood was insanely popular back then, and it just like I don't want to get too hard into it because Brotherhood is still good,
Mhm.
but there are just certain parts of O3 that are so much better.
Honestly, yeah, like O3 is way darker. And that's
It
probably one of my
is,
favorite
and
parts. Like it was one of the original like dark animes in the 2000s. Like before that there were like plenty of other
yeah,
dark
and
animes, but like this one was one of the original mainstream ones, I think. If I remember right, cuz it was that
yeah,
Helsing. No. No.
Hel- Helsing was a
Helsing.
little later, I
Yeah,
think.
Helsing
At
was
least
later.
Ultimate was.
I meant shoot. Uh fuck. Why can't I remember the name? Oh my god, the other vampire one.
Vampire G, Vampire,
No, I think I am thinking of
Vampire
Helsing.
Knights.
No, I am thinking of Helsing.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, uh, listen. I know you didn't answer me before, but somewhere in there, I can feel it. There's a glimmer of a good person inside of you. The memory of someone who once wanted to do the right thing. That was me in the pacifist run. Not anymore, sir. Someone who, in another time, might have even been a friend. Come on, buddy. Do you remember me? No. Please, if you're listening, let's forget all about this, okay? Just lay down your weapon, and well, my job will be a lot easier. Sans is sparing me.
Go for the kill.
Well, it was worth a
Oh my
shot.
god.
Guess you like doing things the hard way, huh? Oh, what is this?
This
Felt
is
like a
the halfway
turning
point.
point.
It is the turning point. He's
What
turning
in
it up.
the
By the way, that bone is hitting you right now.
so confused? Sounds strange, but before all this, I was secretly hoping we could be friends. I always thought that Anomaly was doing this cause they were unhappy. And when they got what they wanted, they would stop all this. Fuck! Aw, man. Do I gotta start all over again? It's
Yup.
Genocide Run, of course I do.
Yup. Oh, can I
That's as
say
far
one
as...
more thing about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood
Oh, dude,
2003?
no, go for it. Like, continue.
Uh, I was just gonna say like one of the biggest things that I don't talk about a lot in terms of like why I think three is better than Brotherhood
Yeah.
is the simple fact that Bury the Chopper happened. Bury the Chopper, I know happened in Brotherhood, but by the time you get to him in Brotherhood, for those of you who haven't seen O3, in Brotherhood he is just a body in armor,
Yeah.
and in O3 he is a man. He
You
uh
see him as the
actually
butcher.
yeah, and Edward is actually a potential victim, and we get an MC that gets the shit kicked out of him very early in the story to give him a real sense that people out there will try to kill you, and you're in the military now. This is gonna happen a lot,
Yup.
and
It's very
it put
different
a
than the
real
Brotherhood one, though, where, like, you see someone else in the military and then Ed just comes in. Like, that's why I
yeah.
think I like O3 a little better.
O3 does a lot more to set up actual character arcs and
Yeah.
character development, which, by the way, for any of you who aren't listening, those are two different things. And they there are so many people online that think that that's the same shit.
Oh, for real.
Um,
Like, I have an argument all the time about what is and is not filler. Like,
Oh
those are
yeah.
arguments that happen so often now, and I'm just like, my guys, come on. Like, just
Do you know
because
how
it's
many people?
boring doesn't mean it's filler. Like, filler technically means stuff that is not in the manga and is used
Yep.
to
And,
bloat the anime.
and because in order for the manga to catch up, so that way they can
Yup.
produce more actual story. And if you see filler in other shows that aren't based on manga, like say, I'll just use the biggest one I know. Like Steven Universe has a lot of cartoon filler on Cartoon Network. That is basically story written by not Rebecca Sugar to
To give her time
save
to write
time
more, wasn't it?
to write another piece of bad story. What?
Another piece of bad story. If Plant was listening now, he would have gone off the rail.
Can I just say, like, see, Hell of a Boss did everything that Steven Universe wanted to do, but better.
That's because they weren't given the constraint of censorship. But
True.
even then,
Well, eventually they did because of Amazon Prime.
yeah. I feel like
To
even
some
then,
degree, they have to answer to someone.
yeah. To some degree, they
Yeah.
did have to kind of calm it down.
But I will say this though: the reason why I say that is because, and I'll try to make this quick. Steven Universe,
Yeah, because you
three
can rant
biggest
about
reasons.
this for
One,
forever. No.
right? Uh, three biggest reasons. One, they hide the first show to really show a whole bunch of lesbians being lesbians like it's normal. All the lesbians are from a mono race. That doesn't make what they do special. That is a normal thing. I would never like whenever Justice League would go to Amazon. I never the Amazon where fucking Diana's
Amazonia?
from. I never once thought to Amazonia. I never once thought to myself, man, I wonder if these ladies ever think about dudes. I pretty much just thought to, this is Greek culture, and they are women warriors. I feel like they only care for men for reproduction, and I don't think they give a shit about anything else when it comes to men. That's that I never had think that. And I felt that same way looking at Steven Universe. They wouldn't really think about that because they are one race,
Yeah.
one gender, making the only relationship that is special the straight one of the space lesbians and a human, which is entirely the weirdest message to send, especially when the human child looks more human, is not a female like the rest of the gems,
Yeah.
and ends up becoming the most important character in the whole fucking series. Like, ooh, you dropped the ball so hard. Two, um, they do good writing with couples, but they do good writing with lesbian couples, but they hide the lesbian couple in a fusion 90% of the time. Fusions were really cool. I love fusion concepts, but
Yeah.
like the one lesbian couple that is really, really well written, and they're hidden inside of a character the entire time. Most are built off of same gender in that show are very toxic and abusive. And again, most of those couples and most of those people suffer because of important couple because they need the main character, and it makes from the out it creates a context where the show is better for the idea of what it's trying to do as a viewer that hasn't actually watched the show.
Yeah.
My opinions of what Steven Universe was before I watched it was much higher because all I ever heard was it's super LGBTQ friendly, but it's written out and storied out like it's not. Like it's like slow propaganda for anti that. But then in Helena Boss and in Has Been Hotel, I'm putting them together because it's the same universe.
Yeah.
We see not only lesbian couples, we see a gay couple, we see a straight couple,
You see an
and we
abusive
see
couple.
that, yeah, we see all flavors of couples and of multiple orientations. And against one another. We also see them contrast in hell. So we see a bunch of people who should all be shitty somehow finding ways to treat each other right. Charlie and Baggy are legit a couple from the first second they go on screen, and
Oh,
they are written so well. Oh wow, you made it, man! You are getting good at getting here.
I'm trying. I'm trying so
And then I
hard.
say that, um, but they do great couple banner, and they are three-dimensional characters all on their own. It's awesome. And then you have um, Asmodeus and Fizzarali. They they had a secret relationship at first, and but it turned into like this very loving, very caring relationship that balances lust and love. You have a straight couple with Moxie and Millie, who
Mhm.
literally are there for each other 100% of the time, all the time. And then you have Angel and Val, which isn't an actual couple, but an abusive relationship that's very much one-sided, very up. You also have um, uh, Val and I said Vox and Val. I meant Angel, Dust, and Val. But Vox and Val is also an unhealthy relationship between two people
Val
who,
and pretty much anyone is really unhealthy.
yeah, yeah, pretty much anyone in Val. And all seeing all of that is important. Like both the good relationships and the bad. Also, another gay relationship that is bad in that show is Stolas and Blitz. I want it to work, but it is severely unhealthy. Those shows so good and so much better at doing the representation, in my opinion, than any other show that I have ever seen is the fact that by the time Charlie and Baggy kiss in the show, it does not feel special because they're a lesbian couple kissing on a television show. It feels special because they made up after a big fight, and it feels earned, it feels good, and it feels satisfying for the moment before what it leads into. It's very well written, and that feeling is attained by showing all of these other couples and showing the viewers that it doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is, it doesn't matter who you're with, as long as they do right by you and you do right by each other and you work on the shit through bullshit, you can make it work. And when you don't, it can go shit and sour real fast. And they do that doesn't get shown in shows like Steven Universe, where all of the relationships are bad, pretty much almost every single one of them. And the only ones that aren't labeled as bad are either hidden or in a straight relationship. It's like, holy shit. How do you miss the mark? How does a show about hell hit every mark that they should hit when talking about relationships, good and bad, but a show that set its way out to normalize different kinds of relationships made them look really bad? it's it's crazy to me.
Honestly,
Sorry.
like I was trying to think of a good retort, but I've seen the deep dive on YouTube. There's no. Honestly, I watch
Are
that
you
back quite frequently just because like it's actually a really
are
good
you,
analysis.
are you talking about Lily Orchid's video?
Yes. Her series of videos?
Yeah. She made another one not too long.
Oh.
I don't want. It was basically a follow up where they were um, kind of like apologizing for how hard they went on uh, this show, but there was still a lot of criticism that they gave to it.
Yeah. I mean, you should be able to give a show criticism because that's how
Absolutely.
like oh no 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 no. Why? Okay. Somehow damn it. Gravity me up on this one. Like, the control... You see how the blue heart was stuck all the way at the top?
Sorry, you may have to repeat because both of my earbuds fell out.
So, did you see how both of my, the blue heart went at the top and, like, severely me up?
Yes.
That was the controller, like, drifting, and I, like, could not fix it.
Oh,
I'm
no.
low-key so pissed, because I was doing so well until that moment, and that was one of the easier... God damn.
And here we have an ATP having what is called in some circles a rough day.
This is extreme genocide run.
Oh, but of course.
This is exactly what I told Chrysalis today, was what the Eclipse glasses were giving her. Advanced darkness.
Advanced darkness.
This was advanced unfortunate. God damn, I really didn't want to use
you just
yet.
You just reminded me, and I can't believe I forgot to bring this up in another stream. So I started. Hold on, let me get the title really quick.
Yeah.
Oh, how did I forget? I didn't even get to it. It just came to me. So I started reading a new webtoon called The. And boy, is it a fun adventure so far. But my favorite thing about it is.
Cut out for a second.
It's called The Raven King, and little webtoon so far. My favorite thing is the main character, who is a giant meme factory.
What?
So the Raven King
how?
is posted like, well, okay, so the whole setting is basically like medieval fantasy era, and our main character is a thief. Her name is V, and what was it? At one point, she, no joke, you're gonna know why I thought about this up in a second. One point, she's literally staring at someone trying to teach her how to fight, and she had just like did something to piss him off, and she looks at him and goes, "What do I do? He's just standing there, menacingly." And she does things like that all the time. She'll just say something that like instantly hits the button because it's like either a fucking meme or something else, and she just says it, and it fits so natural. That's the only reason it works, is because they're all said at perfect times.
Honestly, that sounds good. Give me just a second. This is gonna be the second to last run. That one guy, can you come here for a second? So, I'm gonna do one last run, and then that one guy and I talked a little bit, and he's going to do the actual last run.
Oh, yes.
Solely because I want to see, like, if he can do it just blind, because that one guy is a real good gamer. That is true.
Wait,
that is true.
Like, has he watched you do it?
Yeah, he was watching me while I was doing the training run earlier, and he's watching, like, he's sitting with me right now. Yeah, like, he hasn't actually played. Like, he's never played Undertale before at all.
So what you're telling me is that his first attempt is gonna be like your first attempt, and everyone's first attempt.
Yes. He may be able to get to 2, because we'll begin sign-offs during his first run. And maybe we'll get to 3, really, depending, because, like, this is the ultimate boss in Genocide Run.
It is. I'm not gonna lie, Sans might have been the hardest boss that came out in the year that this came out.
Not surprising.
Because I'm trying to remember. Hold on, let me. Sorry, I pre-gamed not being in the stream.
No, you're okay. Before before we started, I was literally hacking up a lung, and I like could not tell you why. Granted, I think I could. It's probably the pressure, like the weather or whatever. No! Which, by the way, Zero, since today was Eclipse Day, how many Eclipse puns did you make today?
Not actually. I actually mostly, in terms of Eclipse conversations.
You're underwater.
Back yet?
Yes.
Okay. In terms of Eclipse conversations, I mostly just talked about conspiracy theories around today, and just how cool things like this are.
Yeah.
I guess I had a really just a really cool and chill conversation with my coworker about it. We didn't really make puns, which is surprising now that I'm thinking about it.
That honestly is kind of nice, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I made a pretty good pun, and you guys can— God damn it! You guys can all see it on the Plasma Coin social media accounts. I'm not gonna tell you more than that. Because goddamn, I'm not doing well at all. We're not even gonna get to part 2 in this run, which is good. Like, God.
God damn, I forgot that Fab 3 and 4 came out in the same year. That is insane. Okay, there is actually a couple of arguments.
Yeah, because these were originally in parts. That's right.
Yeah. So there's actually a argument that could be made over who the hardest boss of 2015 could be.
Yeah.
Because Dark Souls 2, Scholars of the First Flame came out, and that version of Dark Souls 2 had a harder boss than the original Dark Souls 2.
So it's just A.
And then
this is start. Look at your items here. And then it's just all healing items. This is the most with 60. All these legendary heroes are 40. The snowman pieces are 45. And then X. X is your cancel button.
But B's supposed to be cancel.
X is cancel.
But the down one is supposed to be to go back.
X is cancel. Anyway, continue, Zero.
So there's actually a debate. There's actually an argument.
Go on.
There's an argument that could be made over what the hardest bosses of 2015 could be outside of Sans. Dark Souls 2 had a re-release that came out with a harder boss, and Bloodborne came out that year.
Bloodborne came out that year? I thought it was the year before.
Nope, 2015 apparently.
Man, okay.
And,
so the blue heart, according to Zero, means that you have gravity enacted. So.
Oh, my bad. 2015. You were right. 2014 was Bloodborne. The DLC came out, so the hardest bosses in Bloodborne came out in 2015.
Well, Jesus.
Oh, one of them uses his placenta for a weapon. I'm not lying.
I'm gonna take your word for it. That sounds awful.
It throws pieces of it at you as a weapon.
The blue ones do hit you, but if you stay still, it won't matter if they hit you because you won't lose, like, health.
Yeah, they phase through you.
Yeah, they phase through you, is what Zero
if you're not moving. There's some awesome animations of this fight, by the way. If you're ever like bored, just look up like animations of this fight. And also, there are two songs by oh my god, what Let It is it Let It Go or Let It Out? One second. Using the second PP.
No, you're good. And while you do that, I'm gonna start the sign off. So, if you like this, make sure you give us a follow on Twitch. And then follow us on YouTube as well, where you can watch edited down versions of some of these VODs and different things. Yeah, that's a thing. Do you have a suggestion that you would. Hang on, let me start that again. Do you have a suggestion of a game you want us, Plasma Coin, to play? Join our Discord, and then you can do it. It's super fun. We do lots of cool things, sort of, or we're gonna start doing more cool things. But don't forget, follow us on social media. Um, Lots of other cool things are happening there too. You know, the usuals. It's a good time. It's a good time in the kingdom. Um, Zero, do you have the answer to which we seek?
Yes, I was gonna say. Last thing I'll say about Undertale. If you look up on YouTube, the band Set It Off's Nightmare and Wolf in Sheep's Clothing with Undertale in the search, you will find two of the coolest animated music videos completely filled with actual animations that people have made for Undertale. It is so well put together, and they got so popular that Caleb Hyles, hey, I'm not looking this up, but a singing YouTuber, um, actually two of them. I believe him and Jonathan Young both did covers of those songs while referencing Undertale because of how popular those music videos got.
Oh.
But yeah, dude, if you're ever bored, do yourself a favor, look that shit up.
Oh, for
So
sure.
says I a plasma coin, and if you do that, we'll give you a fucking plasma coin so you can go to the arcade and play some fucking games. Anyways, that's um. By the way, if you guys want to see more shit, come by on Wednesday. I
Oh yeah,
think you
for
already
sure.
said that.
I did not actually. Come by on Wednesday. Tori and I are going to be playing Hotafall Boyfriend, a game we can actually complete. And we're doing so on completionist mode. We get to date all the burbs. And we may have just found ourselves in a murder mystery plot, which I did not know existed in this game. Most entertaining. And Zero, are you streaming on Thursday?
Yes, I am streaming more Elden thing. I'm
Oh.
not and I may be on the verge. Actually, no, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna be fighting that goddamn beast clear demon, and this time I'm going to win.
You'll win! But tell you what, I don't think it's looking too hot for that one guy, but at the same time, at some point I will want him to play through all the game. It will be entertaining for me.
Yes,
And for him, I'm sure
yes,
he'll enjoy it.
yes.
Uh, I don't want to end it until he dies, but it looks like he's gonna. Oh, never mind. Okay, well.
It's
Oh
like
my
you
god.
manifested it.
Yeah, whoops, my bad. Uh, thanks for doing this, that one guy. And okay, goodbye forever. And thank you guys for coming out. We'll
Forever.
see you next time.
Drink
Bye.
water, bye.
Hello. If you want more content like the one you were just watching, click over in this area. If you want more Plasma Coin shenanigans, definitely give us a follow and click over in here somewhere. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.